Part 3. My husband secretly spent our $50,000 house down payment on crypto and NFTs while I was taking care of my dying mother. Now he claims it was for our future, so I divorced him. The money was already gone, transferred to various crypto exchanges, and completely lost trading the leverage markets. Apparently, this means gambling with borrowed money at 50x or 100x leverage, basically guaranteeing you'll lose everything. When I got home, Jake was glued to his screens as usual. I slammed the loan paperwork down in front of him. He jumped like he'd seen a ghost, then tried to spin some story about how this was actually good news. He'd found this amazing opportunity in something called yield farming that would supposedly generate 300% returns in a month. Look, I'm this close to making everything back, he insisted, pulling up more incomprehensible charts. I figured out the pattern. Just 2 more good trades, and we'll be millionaires. You'll see, you'll thank me for this. I stood there in disbelief as he explained his foolproof strategy. He'd lost our first $50,000 but was learning from those mistakes. The $15,000 from the car would be different because now he understood the market cycles. He even had the audacity to suggest we take out a home equity loan on my mom's house that I'd inherited. That's when I truly saw him for what he'd become, a gambling addict who'd rather double down than admit he had a problem. The man I married, the one who used to make spreadsheets for our grocery budget, was gone. In his place was this wild-eyed stranger who talked like a late-night crypto YouTuber and thought forging his wife's signature was totally justified if it meant making it in crypto. I filed for divorce the next day. Jake's response was to post a huge rant on Twitter about how Web 2 wives don't deserve Web 3 husbands, which went viral in crypto circles. His new crypto friends are calling me all sorts of names, saying I'm going to regret leaving a future crypto millionaire. The strangest part? I feel relieved. The man I loved is gone, replaced by someone who cares more about magic internet money than our marriage. I'm staying with Sarah until the divorce is finalized. Going to therapy twice a week. Slowly rebuilding my savings, $50 at a time. To everyone saying I should have been more understanding, would you be saying the same if he'd blown our savings at a casino? Because that's essentially what he did, just with fancier terminology. I didn't sign up to be married to a gambler who thinks rules don't apply to him. Life isn't perfect, but it's better than living in fear of what financial disaster my husband would cause next. I'm back in therapy, working through not just the loss of my marriage, but also the guilt over my mom. While I was with her in her final months, Jake was destroying our future. Part of me feels like I failed her. She raised me to be smart and independent, and here I am, starting over at 28. But you know what? Maybe this was a blessing in disguise. Better to find out who Jake really was before we bought a house together, before we had kids. Sometimes rock bottom has a basement, and I'm glad I got out before we hit it. Final update, 3 months later. A lot of people have been asking for one final update, so here it is. The divorce was finalized last week. The proceedings were surprisingly quick. Turns out Jake didn't contest anything because he was too busy trying to trade his way out of his losses. His parents finally intervened after he lost his job. His boss discovered he'd been running crypto trading bots on company servers. The last I heard, he'd moved back in with his parents and was still deeply involved in crypto. His mom called me last month, crying about how he'd convinced his dad to invest $20,000 of their retirement savings in some new cryptocurrency that promised to revolutionize gaming. They lost everything in a week when the project turned out to be a scam. The weirdest part? He still thinks he was right. His last message to me, before I blocked him everywhere, was a screenshot of Bitcoin's price going up 5% with a caption, "Hope you're happy missing out on generational wealth. Have fun staying poor." I didn't bother responding. The Jake I knew would have been horrified by that kind of arrogant cruelty. The divorce settlement was straightforward since we had nothing left to split. I kept my mom's house and inheritance, thank God he never got his hands on that, and he kept his precious mining rigs and worthless NFTs. His lawyer actually tried to argue that his crypto losses should be split between us as shared marital debt. The judge's eye roll was priceless. My life has slowly been getting back on track. I'm renting a cute little studio apartment near my job, rebuilding my savings, in a separate bank from our joint account, lesson learned, and actually feeling optimistic about the future. Sarah's been amazing. She even set me up with her financial advisor who helped me create a solid, non-crypto investment plan focused on boring but reliable index funds. The hardest part has been dealing with the guilt. Not just about the money, but about my mom. While I was with her in her final months, trying to make her proud of the life I was building, Jake was systematically destroying our future. Part of me feels like I failed her. She raised me to be smart and independent, and here I am, starting over at 28. Last weekend, I finally had the courage to go through some old photos Mom had saved. Found one from my college graduation. She was beaming with pride, telling everyone how her daughter was going to conquer the world. Standing there in my cap and gown, I looked so confident, so sure of my path forward. Looking at that photo, something clicked. That girl in the graduation photo wouldn't have let anyone, not even someone she loved, gamble away her future. She wouldn't have accepted excuses or waited around hoping things would magically get better. For the first time since this whole mess started, I felt that confidence coming back. Sometimes the hardest part of losing someone isn't the big dramatic moment, it's the quiet aftermath when you realize you can't call them for advice anymore. I wish I could ask Mom what she thinks about all this. But you know what? I think I know what she'd say. She'd tell me to hold my head high, trust my gut, and never let anyone, not even someone I love, make me doubt my own worth. Last week, I did something I've been putting off. I went house hunting. Not to buy yet, just to look. The realtor showed me this cute little fixer-upper, the kind of place Mom would have loved helping me restore. As I walked through it, imagining the possibilities, I realized something. Jake didn't just steal our down payment, he nearly stole my dreams. I won't let that happen again. To everyone who shared their stories and support, thank you. You helped me realize I wasn't crazy for feeling betrayed. Your messages gave me strength on days when I wanted to give up and go back to him. And to anyone else going through something similar, it gets better. Trust me. The road ahead might be longer than you planned, but it's better than staying trapped in a life built on lies. I'm not sure what the future holds, but for the first time in months, I'm excited to find out. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that set us free. And sometimes losing everything is just the universe's way of making room for something better.